Her Father's Wealth. The Nanny's Story. Part 8. Early that morning, a client called Lyon to the office for a car negotiation. He got ready, but when he reached the sitting room door, Cindy was already there, looking furious. He tried to persuade her to let him go to work, but Cindy remained silent and demanded my attention. When I came downstairs, I was struck by how Cindy's demeanour mirrored the unsettling dream I had. "Cindy, please, I beg you, don't hurt anyone," I pleaded. "I'm not here to hurt anyone," she replied, turning to her father. "What's my fate now that you're about to have another wife and a child?" "There's no time for this right now, Cindy," Lyon said. "Get out of the way. Someone is waiting for me at the office." "Office that you got on merit. Office that was graced to you on merit," Cindy said. Lyon looked at me and I looked back at him. "What do you mean?" Lyon asked. "How did your office come to be, can you remember?" Cindy asked. "Apart from me, my uncle and late Aunt Erica, no one else knows about the Chinese man and how the car stand came to be." Lyon turned to me. "Have you been telling her everything?" he asked. "No, I've never discussed anything like that with her," I replied. "I don't need to be told. I was here from the beginning. I made it happen. I brought the luck, yes, I did. Now all you have to do is pay me back by marrying a wife and having a child," Cindy said, sobbing. "I do not understand you, Cindy," Lyon said. Cindy didn't respond. After a while, she asked, "What is your last decision? Marrying a wife and having a kid, or staying by my side and loving me alone? Listen, sweetheart, there was never a time I stopped loving you. I'm not even going to stop in the future. You know why? Yes, you brought the luck, and I suddenly became rich when you came into my life. The love I had for your mother, I've transferred to you. I can't trade you for anything. You're my all in all. But Cindy, I need to have a wife, someone I can share emotions with. And there's no way you'll have a wife without having a child. I know you're still very young, but you're supposed to understand how things work," Lyon said, begging. Cindy looked at him speechlessly and began to cry bitterly. He moved closer and hugged her tightly. This made me emotional. I wished I could leave Lyon for his daughter, but I needed a complete family for my unborn child. Lyon left, and I returned to the room. Minutes later, Cindy opened the door and walked in. I sat up quickly, terrified. "Are you scared of me?" she asked. "No," I said. "I just don't want to offend you in any way." She smiled and sat on the bed. "Do you really want to marry my dad?" she asked. "Yes, I do," I replied. "Not for my sake, but for the sake of my unborn child." "It's not good to raise a child in an incomplete family," I added. "But I warned you," she said. "I warned you never to say yes to his proposal. I told you I was not ready to share with anyone." I was dumbfounded. I had thought she was fine after her conversation with her father. I wished we could be one big family. "Nice thinking," she said, smiling. "Even your thoughts about us are good." I looked at her strangely. "I will have mercy," she said. "I will return the same favor you did to me. Stay. Stay until you have your baby. After you give birth, leave us alone. I will take care of the child, the way you took care of me." "I loved you too, Miami, and wished you could stay forever, but you can't because Dad wouldn't stop trying to lure you, and I don't share what I cherish." We stared at each other for a long time before she walked away. I was left feeling extremely confused. My God, what is this girl behaving like? She's not some kind of something I can't tell. A sudden fear gripped me and I ran to the door and locked it. I couldn't wait for Lyon to return. Later that evening, while waiting for Lyon, I heard a group of people singing and drumming as they entered the compound. It was a celebration song. I rushed downstairs and opened the door to find Lyon and his friends, the drummers drumming, and the singer singing a love song. What was happening? Lyon approached me, knelt, and proposed. I remembered Cindy's warning and felt a battle was brewing. I was not ready to find out what she meant. "Honey, you should have discussed this with me first," I said. "There's nothing to discuss anymore. You already know it's you. You and I forever. The door opened, and Cindy emerged. She walked past us, going behind everyone, and watched us. Lion looked at her but chose to overlook her. I, however, couldn't. Cindy didn't seem human. What if she decided to harm me? Miami, please say yes, Lion urged. Marry me. I looked at Cindy, who was not smiling. Everyone looked at Cindy and me. I began to cry. How could I say yes knowing Cindy might come after me? How could I say no, knowing I would become a single mother and my child would lack a complete family? Lion remained on his knee, waiting for my answer. Everyone waited too, including Cindy. I'm ready for this battle, Cindy, I said to myself. All for my unborn child, I concluded. I turned away from Cindy and looked at Lion. He gazed back at me intensely. Yes! It's a yes! Everyone erupted in joy, and Lion quickly placed the ring on my finger. Cindy screamed with anger, and suddenly we were all thrown to the ground as if pushed by an invisible force. Cindy then approached me with anger. I felt it was the end for me. I struggled to move, but my body was immobilized. Cindy came closer, and I recalled Erica's words from the dream. Cindy couldn't harm me because my love for her was genuine. I shouted, "You know I love you, Cindy. Genuinely, I do. Please don't hurt me." Cindy suddenly paused and appeared weakened. We all stared at her as she sobbed and ran out of the compound. "Cindy!" Lion called out. After Cindy left, we were able to move again. Lion immediately went after her, calling her name. "What just happened?" the guests asked. "You all need to leave now," I said, rushing out of the compound to find Cindy as well. I ran outside, searching for Cindy. Lion was ahead, calling her name, but she had vanished into thin air. Panic set in, and I felt a deep sense of dread. This girl, this force, was beyond my understanding. It was already night when Lion and I, exhausted and worried, returned home, hoping Cindy would come back on her own. Back at the house, I couldn't shake the feeling that something terrible was imminent. Lion was visibly distressed, pacing and muttering to himself. I tried to comfort him, but fear for my unborn child and the strange power Cindy wielded consumed me. "Why is this happening, Miami?" Lion asked, anguished. "Why is Cindy acting this way?" "I don't know," I replied honestly. "But we need to understand her. There's something deeper going on." Just then, we heard a faint knock at the door. We froze, hearts pounding. Lion slowly walked to the door and opened it. Standing there was an old woman, her face lined with age and wisdom. To be continued.